You'll generally find that I'll always lift the eyebrow area when I'm working on it because I like the skin to be nice and taut. Get into any little folds. Now we're going to go into the contour. I'm going to use the same contour colour that I used for the eyebrows. I'm going to multitask that colour. I used the walnut in the brush on brow, so now I'm going to use that to create the contour on the eye. Now, a lot of people ask me how to do contour. It seems to be the hardest thing for people to figure out. There's a very easy way. I'll show you how. When you're looking straight ahead, this contour bone right here, where your lashes end above the fold, or the skin area here, this is what we call the contour bone. That's what we want to work on, okay? We don't want to go above it, because if we take the dark colour up too high, then we're actually closing the eyes in, because dark takes back, light brings forward. So we want to keep this above area nice and light, and I'll show you why after. So we're just going to use the walnut, a nice tight firm sort of brush, and if we're looking straight ahead, we just work directly on that little bone area while the eyes are open. This way you never miss. Right. So that's what we call the contour bone. So that's generally where I start when I'm trying to do like a high definition sort of look to the eye. I'll create the contour area like that. Then just close for me. I'm going to go into the corners. Because what we're trying to create, and this is why I call it the template, this is the corner edge here. Once we've got that template, we can put any colours, anything inside it. Now don't worry about blending too much at this stage, that'll come after. Let's just get our colour on. Okay, I'm going to use what we call a chocolate gel liner. Now, this is like the old, like we would for brush on brow. If we had an activator or water, we could create a liquid line for it. This is actually a premix, and it's indelible, so you can have a good cry, and you'll be fine.
That's great.
You won't look like Alice Cooper. Just close for me. So when you're starting with this, start on the outside. I always use a nice firm angled brush, okay? It just gives a nice line. The longer part of the brush is where you start and move around. Keep nice and close to the lashes. This makes the lashes look nice and thick. Okay, so I've just done a gel eyeliner. Now I'm just going to blend a little bit because I don't want any harsh lines anywhere. So I'm just going to blend it out.
I love the eyes.
Yeah, well, we've only just started. You watch. Okay, out of series 3 again, we're going to go straight into a colour, and this is called Stalker. Nothing like a good stalker, is there? Okay, now, just close your eye for me. We're going to work back. Where we've done our gel liner, we're just going to work back into that little corner now and just darken it up. Just going to pat it in there. Working with the template that we created before. And again, don't worry about blending too much at this stage. What we really just want is to get the colour on and to get the design happening. We're just going to blend our outside edges a little bit. I'm going to use a colour called Eye to Eye, back in the series 3. This one up here. Again with a nice loose brush. Let's close. And I'm going to blend right on that line, okay? Just up the top section. And you always want to keep it working out, okay, with the maximum amount of colour on the outside. And this will give you more of an exotic look. Just like to use a sponge just to balance up my sides. So with the whole shape moving upward constantly. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of highlight. So back in the third series palette, we're going to use a colour called Lash. And this is going to create a little highlight for us. Remember, you want a nice firm brush for this, okay? Because the looser the brush is, the more splay you'll get with colour and product. You want to keep it nice and firm. Piece de resistance. We're going to use some shimmer dust, and this is called Mango in the Shake It Baby Evolve Shimmer Dust series. Now the easiest way that I find to apply shimmer dust is, rather than using any brush at all, I like to use these little sponges, and the reason is it's got little holes in them, so they actually hold in the product, so you're not getting all that drop off with it. So you press it in, take any excess off, and you're left with a decent amount, and then what we do is we press. Let's close. And we just blend it out with the other side. And these sorts of colours work beautifully on the darker skin tones. So straight over the eyeball area. Beautiful.
I love it.
Makes the browns sort of a bit more nourishing, doesn't it, your eyes? Let's get really creative. We're going to use the peach that we used underneath your eye. We're now going to balance it around the whole eye area. So we're going to go up inside here. Just creating a little bit of definition in there. I love this big brush. It's a beautiful big socket brush, they call it, and it's just round and wide, and it just works. Use it like a windscreen wiper. And we'll just blend off any of those top edges with it. And use our gel liner for underneath the eye as well. Now we love this stuff. It's better than a pencil, I feel. I mean, I do love the pencils, but I find generally in warmer climates, because of the wax content in them, they tend to droop down the side of the eye a bit, yeah? So that's why I love the gel liner, because it's indelible and it'll stop all that. Just look up for me. So I generally work underneath the eye for the moment. Now we're going to work inside the eye as well. We're going to make it very exotic-like. So what I usually do with the other end of my magic sponge, the pointier end, I like to take off any moisture inside the lid. So I just dab it out a little bit. Grab my brush. And just, all you need to do is press on the inside of the lid. And that, rather than dragging the eye area down, just press, and the eye generally pops out anyway. Now just look over and down this way. Up. you really want to intensify the gel liner, just to set it, I usually grab myself a little smudger. We'll go back to the Stalker colour that we used before in palette 3. And we're just going to go over it. And because it's got a light little shimmer into it, it'll just lift the under the eye as well. So just pat it on.